Today we're in Lawrence County, South Carolina at the New Prospect Baptist Church. Says number 1 on the sign. One of our followers on Facebook told us about this historic church, and we're here to explore and tell you a little bit about the history. But first of all, it was founded in 1867 and was founded by freed slaves. So the first thing we're going to do is just look around the church, and then we'll take a glance at the cemetery and along the way tell you some of its history. Thanks for joining us, and if you enjoy our channel, make sure you like and subscribe. It's New Year's Day, the first day of 2026, and what better way to start than exploring a part of our country's history, especially since this year marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So we have a lot of great adventures ahead of us. We're going to take a look at New Prospect Baptist Church. I'm going to kind of walk down this hill that's covered in leaves, show you the sign. Established 1867. It is still in operation, thankfully. The special thing about this church is it was actually organized by freed slaves and is one of the oldest African American churches in South Carolina. So as we walk around this side of the church, we noticed the old outhouse in the woods back here. So we've got to go check that out. It's always interesting to see what pieces of history have been left behind. We'll walk back through here. It's right inside the wood line. The old outhouse. See the old hinges. It's like a two-seater at one time. Oh, and here's one here too. Maybe boy side, girl side, daddy.
Light in there.
Yeah. I know what the nail was for. Maybe to hang a coat, yeah. Did have electricity at one point. And it's this distance from the church. I noticed when we're walking around the end here, to the side of the church, there was an interesting foundation stone over here. Oh yeah, here we go. New Prospect Baptist Church, founded 1867 by Samuel Meekins, Ned Sullivan, Emory Jenkins, Gabriel Sullivan, Charles Arnold, and others. Reverend F.S. Morris, 13 years, M.W. Evans, 12, C.T. Goodwin, 2, A.V. Rouse, 4, G.W. Watson, James H. Wall, and I'm not sure what the others are down there. They're behind this piece of wire that's been pushed up against the wall. Yeah, against the foundation. But that's an interesting find. But as we said, it was established by freed slaves or freed enslaved people. And the land was actually deeded to them by William Henry Poole. So most of the members of this church were current or former workers from the Poole farm. And when he deeded them the land, that was the one condition, that they build their church on this land. And they built it near some of the oldest graves originally. But apparently, yeah, the original building sits back into the woods. We've heard the foundation can still be seen. We'll see what we can find. So some of these people that are buried here were actually born into slavery.
I wonder if that was a misspell.
Graydon
Graydon
Garden. Yeah, so we found this. This says Graydon, and over here says Garden. So, and over here says Graydon. So it's very possible this was a misprint. Here's the Masonic symbol right there. Mother and father. So one was born 1860, one born 1861, and both died in the 1940s. Resting till the resurrection morn. This is Willie Martin Beeks, born 1902 and died 1924, so just 22 years old. We will meet again. So this tombstone is leaning forward. Emma, wife of Stoba Mills, 1885 to 1943. Her deeds yet live. So another Beeks. James H. Shumitz. Beautiful. It's like a wheat carved into there. Gone but not forgotten. James H. Shumate. August 1st, 1897. December 21st, 1955. We have one that's been broken off. Possibly down in this indention here. Could have fallen down in there and sunk years ago. So we have Garfield Boland, South Carolina, private.
304.
301.
301.
September 1940. The Facebook follower who told me about this church, her relative that had owned this land back in the 1800s was Benjamin and Ann Hendrick Arnold. Benjamin and Ann Hendrick Arnold. And then Benjamin and Keziah Camp Arnold. When they owned this land in the 1800s, there were 420 acres and the house that they sold. It had been in their family for 150 years. So eventually, William Henry Poole ended up with this property at the time of the Civil War, and he's the one who deeded this property to the freed African Americans to build their church. This looks like some type of engraving on that one. See the cross there. So that was some kind of obelisk stone at one time, looks like. Fell over, came apart. So Sullivan's. It's hard to see, I know, and with the sun coming in, shadowing these. Here's one. Cecil, maybe? It almost looks like Cecil. Cecil Sullivan at Rest. 1909 to 1927. I believe it could be a 29. Rose something at Rest. W.H. Sullivan at Rest, 1917 to 19, not sure what that last part is.
You can do ranges.
Ranges. Mills Watts.
1862
to 1937. So born during the Civil War. Bessie Golden, 4/16/1913. Arnold family, Melvin and Janie. It's more recent, 1989. Also, Melvin Arnold was in World War II, 1913 to 1968. Thank you for your service. Sullivans and Arnolds, Butlers. This is a sunken in spot, but an old flower here. But this caught my eye because it's so beautifully carved. Father and mother, Jerry Taylor, died December 31st, 1914, age 96 years old. So he definitely would have been born during the time of enslavement and lived to see the emancipation and to see this church established. In this section, there's just row after row of graves that bear, well, this is Shaw. That also has that little wheat symbol across the top. 1869 to 1938, Asleep in Jesus, Clarentine Shaw. But a lot of these back here have the last name Shell, Shell. This one's fallen over. Booker T. Shaw, Roscoe Conkling Shaw. This is Shaw. Edmund Shaw, 1910 at 78 years old. Although he sleeps, his memory doth live. Nancy, wife of Edmund Shaw, November 18, 1910, age 45 years. She was ready to every good work. So Susie A. Sanders, March the 6th, 1889 through April the 3rd,
1960.
1960?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. One name caught our eye back here. Walk through this little area. But it's Morane or Moraine. And we've talked a lot about this family when we're talking about the French Huguenots that settled near Mount Carmel, Willington area. And then Willie Moran or Morane was in the U.S. Army, private first class, World War II, 1911 to 1982. So thank you for your service. This is Enoch Stewart, U.S. Army, Korea, February 14, 1931 to May 1st, 1996. So in the Korean War. Thank you for your service. This one was once again just hand etched. Thomas Stewart died and then it says 1983, but then it says 1996 and LS down at the bottom. Suppose whoever etched this into the stone, but I'm not sure of the dates. John W. Stewart died in 1945 to 1996, LS. Yeah, maybe that's their birth year, and then I'm not sure what the M stands for. So a lot of Stewarts in this area. This is Carl Stewart, died. Then it's 1938 to 1996. So we're assuming that's birth date and death date. this is Stuart James and Willie Mae. Now, Willie Mae is not engraved on here yet, so she may or may not have passed away yet. But James B. Stewart, Private First Class, U.S. Army, Korea, May 10th, 1929 to December 11th, 2014. So the Korean War, we thank him for his service. There's some older graves back in here, and then back along that wood line, back over in this area. So we're going to go check some of those out. There are a few old ones, 1872 to 1935, 1874 to 1938. Dorothy Ann Stewart, just a little girl, March 27, 1932 to February 5th, 1938. And just a headstone. Robbie Valentine Arnold, July 12, 1890, September 30th, 1931. You can tell there's stuff etched on there. You can't tell what. Almost looks like age 14. Trusting in the Lord. Maggie Walker, 1876 to 1920. This one's fairly old as well. Vinnie, I think it's Viney or Vinnie Butler, wife of Yancey Butler, February 14th, 1859 through March 1st, 1939. So just a child when emancipation took place. Davis, Alice Cleland Davis, December 17th, 1872 to July 25th, 1924. Let our Father's will be done. Fairly large stone. $59. Our Mother, Butler. Can't read that one otherwise, but it's right here on the edge of the woods. We swing around, we can see where the church is in relation to this. Also a field stone marking a grave here. Several old ones here. You can tell which side the writing's on. This is Lucinda, wife of Colonel Alexander, age, I think that's 70 years. Hard to tell, isn't it? And then this beside it is Yancey Butler, died 1913, aged 54 years. Though he sleep, his memory doth live. And this one just says RR. I think that's all that's on there. It's visible anyway. Yeah. This one's missing the stone. The old one up here. This one's broken. Thomas Beeks, born 1852. All out in this area. Pretty sure there are graves as well. There's a lot of sunken areas. And over here, yes. One. Got an anchor on it. Got an anchor? 1874.
Well, it's possible, but that looks the same as this. Does it not? This and this.
It looks like 74 to 1876 almost on here.
Right.
So 2 Meekins. Yeah, the leaves could be covering a lot. And there's some over this way. And right over here, we'll show you in just a minute, is an old wagon road that still exists. Yes, and there's some in the woods here. Sullivan. Caroline, wife of
Somebody Sullivan.
Edmund Sullivan. Died 88 years old. I believe that's 1914. Benjamin Noah, 1883 to 1930. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord, maybe. Sarah Ann, wife of Ben Noah.
Another anchor.
Yep, another anchor. All right, back in the woods, there's a little grave. Looks like it's had flowers on it at some point.
1912 to 1913.
Yeah, infant daughter of J.C. and G.C. Noah. Born 1912, October 4th, and died October 18th. Only lived a few days. Yes. We're going to walk back in here, and I'm sure this is probably, there's a stop here. Yes, signifying where the property boundary is, but this is the old road. You see it coming up through here. And then it just kind of comes around this way and heads back out close to where we parked. Here's a fieldstone marker, another, several down through here, here. So a lot of this empty space, for sure, are burial plots. Okay, then we're going to come back over to this last little section. Did it say who this was? Beautiful carvings on this one. Maggie, daughter of Tully and Francis Sullivan, 1875 to
1892.
and Marie, daughter of Tully and Francis Sullivan, 1892 to 1911.
December 12th, 1892.
So both of the daughters are buried here. Martha Sullivan, 1877 to November 27, 1956, at rest, right beside this old cedar tree. Edward, son of Tully and Francis Sullivan, 1882 to 1920. He was a kind and loving son and affectionate brother. There were several siblings there that died.
Is that 1852?
Not sure.
1856 right here.
Here's Frances Sullivan, wife of Tully Sullivan. Is this Frances Sullivan? I mean, is this Tully Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay. So there's the mother and father.
Francis right there.
Yes. So they experienced a lot of grief in their life with losing their children young. Which was common back then, unfortunately. More Sullivans. More up to date. This is Corey Owens and Sally S. Sullivan. Right. They both passed away in the 1980s. Another one. Nanny Beeks. Yes, that's true. Yeah. So Miss Corey S. Owens, 1884 to 1888 to 1984. 96 years. This one 103 years old. Sally S. Sullivan. Yeah, gone but not forgotten. What long lives. And here's a Lewis Sullivan, 1896 to 1931. We will meet again. Nanny Beeks, 1891 to 1988. Another long life. Here's a Graydon again at rest, Dorothy Graydon, 1931 to 2003. And here's a cornerstone of some sort. Some more Graydons, Beeks. A lot of these names have married into different families. Some unusual names. Zenobia Choice, 1912 to 1971. Mary Carter, 1868 to 1948. She was the sunshine of our home. It's a sweet epitaph. Claudel Sullivan, World War II in Korea, 1918 to 1970. And Irby Sullivan, Pioneer Infantry, November 8, 1893 to February 27, 1945.
1856.
Yeah, 1856. And then they never put the death date for him. But she was 1858 to 1922. Samuel Sullivan, 1845 to April 28, 1919. Rena Jenkins Humbert, 1896 to 1917. Another old one in memory of Henry Sullivan, born 1849 and died in 1917. Looks like a little grapevine coming down on each side. So this was older than the other one. Edmund. I think we talked about him a while ago. Edmund Shoemates. June 1st, 1842 to November 19th, 1907. All right, Shoemate, John Shoemate, 1830 to 1905. Clorinda, his wife, 1839 to 1907. And this is Mary Odessa, daughter of B.J. and Maddie Sullivan, born September 16th, 1935, died October 15th, 1935. So just 1 month old. And there's many that we did not have a chance to read, I'm sure, because there's so many out here. Like I said, there's, I think, 243 documented. Each are special and important. We're sorry we couldn't read them all. Well, thank you for joining us as we walked through the New Prospect Baptist Church Cemetery and talked about the history of the church. And we wish you all a wonderful new year and many happy adventures history hunting with us ahead.